Welcome, everyone, to Apple One-to-One. And that means it's time for the only Apple podcast with two former Apple retail creatives with 20 years experience combined working at Apple Retail. I am Will, TLD, your former Apple specialist creative genius, owner of WVProductions.com. If you need a wedding to be done, a funeral to be done, a Sweet 16, a quinceañera, I am the guy for you to call. But I am not alone. Along with me every week is the former Apple creative, retired book publisher, soccer mom recorder, the Jurassic Park owner. Of course, he's wearing that hat. He is the black coffee drinker, juror number 12, the retirement home president, the keynote trout drummer, Mr. Frank Funk is here.
Hey, Will, how you doing?
Yes, Merry Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas out there. No, not Happy Holidays. It's a Merry Christmas. I don't give a damn about that. So we had a great Christmas. We're recording the day after Christmas for this episode. Frank, did you get anything? Did Santa get you some coal, or was there something good in your stocking?
Well, what I got is a little bigger than a stocking, but
whoa, we don't want to talk about that.
I did get a set of monitors for my computer audio system. So
nice.
Yeah. So
of course. You know what I got? A lifetime supply of Zevia, not sponsored, of course. I had that.
Well, where I usually go, I get Pellegrino, and they not Pellegrino, Perrier, and they didn't have any, so I got Pellegrino.
Oh my God!
I'm feeling my Italian.
For one of the things I did this year, which is on my Instagram page, is I decided, when we lost our dog this year, I wanted to do something really special. So there's a website called paintyourlife.com. I've seen on many advertisements, and we got a painting of our dog done, and it was incredible how that turned out. Frank, I know you saw it.
I did.
It was unbelievable what that was, and just the reaction from my wife and how that just took her back. I just think that if there's an opportunity for you to take a photo or a memory of somebody, or even if you want to, maybe your grandmother can't be with your grandson anymore, like, put them together into a photo. There's some amazing stuff, and that was probably the best gift I've ever done.
Now, that was on canvas, right?
Yeah, it was on canvas.
Did they actually put the picture on the canvas, or did it?
It's a full painting. It was painted. Wow. Yeah, it's incredible. To everyone I will tell you, if you don't, a camera can't do it justice. You have to see it, because it looks great. I was like, the material's great. That smell, that paint smell coming from it, right. The amount of 3D detail coming from it, it's just incredible. So definitely do that if you have an opportunity. Do a painting one year if you want to spend the money. So what we're here today is to talk about Apple 2023. It's in the books, Apple, and we decided, instead of doing the top 5 or the top 5 worst or the top 5 best moments, we want to do something a little different, and we're going to do the Apple report card for 2023. We broke it down into 5 categories: products, software, keynotes, environmental, which I'm also including social on that, and subscriptions. If there are different things you would like us to do in the future, put in the comments below here on our YouTube channel and let us know what we should break that down. We thought this was the best 5 we could come up with. So we're going to go through each one of those categories and give our reasons why, and then we'll see if you match up with what we match up to. So Frank, we're going to start right away with products. And this year, to be honest, was probably one of the weaker years of Apple products. There was nothing new per se as far as new products that came out. If you want to call the Apple Pencil, which is USB-C based one, that's fine. But there was nothing really new this year. So for my report card for Apple for products this year, I gave it a C. And my reasoning is, which is really weird, because this is the year I probably bought more Apple products recently. I bought an Apple Watch Series 8. I bought an iPhone 15 Pro Max. So I definitely invested into some products this year from Apple. But I'm overall, like, nothing new stood out to me this year. Also, I haven't really 100% enjoyed my iPhone 15 Pro Max experience. The main reason why, that thing is scratched up very easily. Like, I already have very noticeable scratches on it on this display, and I'm not the only one that's complained about that. So I don't know what's going on with the display, but it's very scratchable. I think I got it scratched from coins. That's how. Wow. Yeah, if I showed you the scratch, Frank, you'd be surprised that was only within a week or two. of having
Hmm.
it. So I didn't have a case for it at the time because I knew I was getting everyone for Christmas. So,
Right,
but
right.
still, where the scratches are, I don't even think a case would have mattered on
Oh,
that. So yeah, I'm very upset with that, and I'll have to deal with it. But I'm just not happy with the products this year. I just didn't feel like they gave anything great. They did some great upgrades, but nothing like significant. The Mac Pro, for instance, they really dumbed that down to where you can't add any graphics to it. It's really just an expanding port. That's really what it is. The IMAX was, of course, very underwhelming that we didn't get a 27-inch. And then within 1 year, we had a MacBook Pro M2 and an M3 come out the same year, which is very
right.
fast.
Yeah.
Which you didn't get enough time to compress from January to November of this release. It was so quick. So yeah, that's why I gave it a C.
Well, I gave it a B only because, and I know the product's not on the market yet, but they did announce the Vision Pro. And that kind of, the enthusiasm for that particular product and how they displayed it in the um, keynote when they announced it, it impressed me. Okay. Now, what didn't impress me is the price,
No, yeah.
but the
I'm sure our
product
2024
itself,
report card will reflect that.
yeah. But so with the idea that perhaps that product will be a catalyst and push the stock over $200, that's kind of why I gave it a B.
Mhm.
Now, all of the other products that you mentioned, I do agree that underwhelming, no 27-inch iMac. But it's just one of those things you got to get used to.
Mhm.
And who knows? Tomorrow they may come out with a 27-inch Mac iMac.
Mhm.
Um, who the hell knows?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, last
but
year I felt like there was much more innovation. Like the Mac Studio came out, which was a brand new,
right,
product category. The Apple Watch Ultra was a big year. Like last year, I thought was a very good year for them.
yeah,
This year, I can't say that at all. I think a CB is a very fair grade. Honestly, I think you're being a little more generous on them
yeah,
for that because you're more relying on a product that hasn't even been released yet.
right.
So that's
But it
also
was
it. So
announced. It was
it
announced.
was announced, yeah. But product to me is something I can physically grab right now. But I understand what you're saying completely. But let's talk about software. Let's go to the next grade with software. And I gave software a B this year. Nothing over the top, but there were some great things I think that came out that are valuable. For instance, I enjoy now on my desktop of my Mac that I have notes or I can have the widgets kind of plastered there. On the left side of my screen, which I really like that. I like having quick access to news, my notes, home app. Like there are things on there I really, really enjoy. So I'm very happy with the upgrade. For me, Final Cut Pro, they had a very big significant in Final Cut Pro upgrades that were very valuable to my usage. For example, one of the things that annoyed me the most about Final Cut Pro is that the audio waveforms were very bad loading. And now with this new change where they now have the timeline moving at the same time, I don't have that problem anymore, which is awesome. So I was very happy with the performance of the upgrade. I feel like there weren't too many issues with that. I thought there were features that came on the iPhone that were really nice this year. That added some value. I'm very happy with the software on how the action button is working. Although I know they could improve on that. Where, right now a one button press doesn't do anything. You have to hold it. But I'm hoping that this next year coming up, they're going to improve on that button and do a little bit more. So iOS 17 was great. I mean, iPadOS is whatever for that. But even Apple Watch Ultra got the new changes that were added to, which I think had to get used to them, but they're actually much better now that
Yeah,
I'm actually using it. It actually makes more sense
yeah,
of how I'm using the watch. So yeah, I gave it a B.
yeah. I gave it a B, and for some of the same reasons that you mentioned. I'm starting to do more in Final Cut Pro and in Logic Pro now. Specifically in Logic Pro, they added a feature that will take what you've recorded and mix it for you, and kind of like a best. They'll analyze it. It analyzes the
And choose the best
tracks,
one. And choose the best
and
one.
then it'll give you a mix. Now,
Mhm.
once that's done, you can then go in and tweak it any way you want. So being a novice with that program, I was like, the first couple times I used it, I was like, oh my God, this is really good. Cut a lot of time off of me trying to get the proper mix. Um, and then again, in Final Cut Pro, some of the features that I'm using in there, again, I'm a novice with it. So I'm just trying to get down a process whereby I'm taking songs, mixing them down with me playing the drums, bringing that audio file into Final Cut, synchronizing it with the video clip, and adding a splash page in the front, splash page in the back. So I want to start. I want to get that process down first, and then I think I'm going to start with different multiple camera angles, multiple cameras, things of that nature. So utilizing those two programs more and more, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm thinking it's coming out pretty good. So, and I'm posting them to my YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody's interested, go on out there to check out Frank Funk, and you can see my drum covers out there.
Yeah, I'm helping him put together. I'm helping him out with some of the things that he's been trying to do. So, yeah. Software. I thought. Yeah, of course. That's what I do, baby. That's what I do.
Yep.
I'm a creative still at heart, and we've been doing a lot of stuff on our channel too. I appreciate a lot of the news articles we've been posting this year have been pretty popular. But our main thing is software, and we're a training channel, folks.
Yeah.
But we do want to talk about what's going on in news. We talked a lot about Black Friday this year and try to get the best deals. Hopefully, we were very helpful in that. But software wise, I'm very happy with where Apple is right now. Everything's working good. I think iPadOS is the only thing that needs a major change, but that's they don't want to change that. So we're gonna move on to keynotes this year. And this year I believe we had 3 keynotes this year. We had ones back at WWDC. Yeah. We had that on June, and then we had the one, of course, on the 12th of Apple event, and then we had the surprise, the scary event that happened on October 30th, and I gave that a B this year. Primarily, that's all to do with the Vision Pro. It's not very often we get a new product category announced, and the fact that we got that this year, I thought was tremendous. I was very happy with how that came off. Of course, the price is. I take the price out of it. Just hearing what YouTubers saw and what they done. In fact, during Christmas this year, I did record using that Vision Pro feature in the software of iOS 17 because I have the ability to do it. So hopefully I can airdrop that to one of the Apple Store models and see that in action to see what it really
that would be very interesting.
Looks like. Yes, and that's why I recorded that way, because 1080p 30 frames work with my kid at home is not that big of a deal. I don't need the 4K quality. The goal is just to see, and hopefully down the line, if I decide to get a Vision Pro, I now have that. So that's what my goal is in the future. But I thought that was a great announcement. The Stray event was kind of a weird one, but I thought even September 12th with the iPhone, everything that was going on, plus that whole environmental thing was a little weird to extend that keynote a little longer. So it was an ups and down year. I was torn between a C and a B, but just because of the scope of what Apple Vision Pro is going to be, I gave it a B for that.
Well, I thought about this long and hard. I gave it a C, and which thinking about it, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but the reasoning
because of the underwhelmment, I think, of the products this year, that's got to play a role in it a little bit.
For me as a consumer.
But I will say, though, one thing I will say, by the way, that scary event, the fact that was filmed in iPhone Pro 15 Max, by the way, that's another reason why I gave it a good, because the fact that they filmed it in that.
Yeah. I agree with all of those things. The one thing I think that they should reduce the amount of time that they talk about the technical specifications and taking you down into the cellar of the complex and shit. As a consumer, I mean, it's great, and I'd like to see some of it, but not as much time as they spend on it. I'd rather see the actual functionality of the product they're talking about.
Mhm.
Maybe do something and then say that, well, we can do that because of all of this, and then do a little, you know what I mean? Break it up
Do you
into,
think that the keynote format that they're doing now compared to what it used to be is playing a role in that?
well, yeah, I think they're bringing more people from the corporation, bringing in their expertise. But I would like to see some more, um, some of that, but then have someone that's using that particular feature demonstrate it, then go to the other person that says, okay, we can do that because of this. You know what I mean? To give
And
you
that's
a
why they don't.
real
But
life.
that was part of the theater format that we used to have, where you could do a live demo, and they've obviously steered away from
Yeah.
the demo option completely. So people like the old style keynotes better. I think it was, it was very up. But the production though of the keynotes are really nice
Yes,
though. I will
they
say
are.
that. So all right, let's talk about environmental social. So I gave that a B this year. Obviously, they're striving to. I learned a little bit more, and if you listen to uh, Marquez Waveform podcast channel, he brought a guy in that talked about what that environmental message that Apple is trying to do, or basically all companies are trying to do, and how it's part environmental, but it's also part saving money, or it's part, like, for example, like they talked about the power adapters, why they were removed, and then everybody started following them because they realized that people, as much as people complained about it, no one complained to that level, but then they used environmental reasons to be the reason why they did it. Meanwhile, there's more of a, the guest that he brought on, there's more of a backdoor reason why they're doing it. Like there's
Well,
positives and negatives to it. Like they're definitely being very safe. Now, I will say recently with the social side, the fact that Apple's watch has now been taken off the market,
yeah,
I that's definitely going to hurt them a little bit. I'm very surprised that you can't even buy the refurbished models now either. Like that
yeah,
was that I bought mine at the right time,
yep.
but yeah, I mean that kind of hurt them a little bit. The fact that they couldn't appeal this decision. So from a social side, I mean, I think that was going to hurt Apple in the stock definitely.
I think, and I've thought this for a long time. I think, how they remove the chargers and things of that nature. It, but why not? You have the price of the item, whether it's the phone, whether it's the iPad or whatever, or they even say the watch, and say, okay, you're buying the watch at such and such a price. And because they want to cut down on the packaging of whatever the item is, say, all right, it's not packaged with the charger, but it's included in the price. So what charger do you want or what? And then, you know what I mean? Include it in that price instead of saying, all right, the phone's going to cost you X. Oh, and by the way, you got to buy a charger. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Give the customer the choice. It's not packaged in there, but you get a charger. Which one do you want? And then they could package them in a paper bag for all the consumer cares. You know what I mean? They don't need it in fancy packaging.
Mm-hmm.
The same with the watch bands. Just you buy the watch. What watch band do you want that comes included? Pick it out. There it is. And if
Yeah,
you want another one, okay, that's fine. But I think that would save on packaging and it would accomplish the same thing. And the customer would feel like, oh, well, I'm paying $900 for this product. Oh, and then I got to buy a charger separately.
right, right, right. I
You
mean, for
know?
new people, that's a problem. For someone like me, it never ended up being an issue. I mean, obviously there are things now that for Christmas I wanted to have like an extra. Now that I got a new phone, I wanted to get I want to start adding more MagSafe specific items in my house. So I bought a couple Anchor things. I'm gonna probably buy another QT charger that's Lightning MagSafe based. So
Uh,
but
I,
as far as like this year, I thought Apple was pretty safe this year. But like I said, going back to the keynotes, they were very vocal on their environmental strategies, and I think they took it to a, which is, I think I said there are great positives to that, but I know there's a lot of backstory that we will not know about. It's just we can all just guess.
I would like to see them, if even if a product is reached the obsolete category and
Mm-hmm.
you won't get any money for it, but if you want, you can give it to them to recycle.
Well, they
I
do
would,
let you do that. They do let you
yeah,
do that.
but I would like to see, okay, it's not worth any money in terms of a trade-in, but we will give you a $20 gift card if you bring it in for recycle. I mean,
Yeah, they're very bad on their deals right now. Honestly, the
right.
value of my phone even was very disvalued from an iPhone 13 Pro perspective, trading it in. I ended up selling for $550, which was a pretty good deal for
Yep.
me. I thought that was very fair because right now trading it in was like $480. So it was like
Yeah.
really devalued. And that's the problem with these trade-ins. Like they really want, they'll definitely give you a little bit more of a value if you trade it in, and but you're looking at like a $20-$30 difference if you just did it on
Right.
your own.
Well,
So
I'll give you an example. My sister's family, they went to T-Mobile from AT&T, and they all got iPhone 15 Pro Max. Um, and they didn't even want their phones. They got them, but you got to commit to, I think it's a 2 or 3 year contract.
yeah, oh god, I hate that. That's a whole other story.
But but they still have their other phones. So I'm trying to talk my sister into donating it to my studio so I can get another camera and have a camera
Mm,
angle.
right, right, right. Well, I personally don't do plans. I bought my phone outright. I always do. I always will. Just to not be tied down to a carrier. But to get off that subject, let's talk about the last report card category, which was subscriptions. So this year we did see a price increase on a lot of these subscriptions. They went up this year, justified or not, depending on that. Currently, the subscriptions I have are iCloud. I have Apple Music. I did a trial of news a couple times this year because as part of my product purchase, I got that, and iTunes Match, which I consider that. Which, by the way, we're gonna have a video on. I actually recorded a video about iTunes Match, so people can get an idea what that is and how that could be your Apple Music replacement, basically, and why there are some benefits to it. But that's relatively where I'm at now. They did add more, which got the biggest reaction. I couldn't believe when iCloud they added more tier plans
Yes.
past 2 TB, which was
Yes.
bigger applause than I think the Apple Vision Pro, because I think I'm at the point of 2 TB where I know I'm going to eventually have to go higher. So to me this year, it was a B. I felt like I understood why they went up in price, but I also, and I think they added some features with the iCloud, adding the tiers, I think, which was a good idea. I think some things they still need to work on as far as subscription wise, what's worth it. Apple TV is starting to really get a groove right now. I think people are seeing the value of that. Plus, Apple One in general is just a value in general.
Yeah.
If you have at least 3 subscriptions to any one of those
Yes.
three, you're
Yep.
basically
Yep.
going to be an Apple One user. And of
Or
course, and the bottom line is they're making tons of money off their subscriptions.
Right. Right. That's a whole other revenue stream for them. Now, me, I gave it a B. Um, and I am an Apple One premium subscriber only because I wanted to go to 2 TB. And at that level, I got the 2 TB, plus I got Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Arcade, Apple Arcade, and well, news. Now, and it's only me and my wife. But if you were to buy just Apple Music, you've already reached, 2 separate
Halfway.
subscriptions.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're more
Yeah.
than halfway. So, and if you went to 2 TB for one person, boom, you're over. So for
Well,
me,
I'm right there as far as subscriptions go, but I'm saving like $5-6 to not upgrade all the other services.
mhm,
And if I times that by 12, I have to look and justify if that value is worth it. And to me, right now, it's actually not.
yeah.
So until the day
Well,
comes
I
where
I
I
think the
can,
thing. the fact that you can have up to 5 Apple IDs into that to share all of those applications, that if you have a larger family than just say 2 or 3, that's definitely an incentive, especially like,
Right.
well, for my grandson, the youngest one now, Apple Arcade. They use the Apple Arcade and all of that. So I felt it was worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my
So
son's 3 right now, so I have no desire of it. So,
yeah,
but
but
eventually, I think down the line, if he was to get into games and stuff like that on his phone or
he'll be a
iPad,
gamer. Come on, they
yeah,
all.
I absolutely I could see that. Especially if there are games that are. I have to look at Apple Arcade and see if there's any like really good games for like 3-year-olds. That because then that would convince
Right.
me to
Yeah.
do it. So overall, Frank, this year, I mean, as a report card in general, Apple's more like a C plus for me this year. Even though I gave a lot of B's, but it's more like a B
Right.
minus, year for me. Where I feel like it was a very stale year, except for the Apple Vision Pro announcement. Everything else was just kind of just the same, and with a little bit of added bonus to it. There was nothing really like revolutionary compared to I think last year, definitely not compared to 2020, that's for sure. So I think 2020 was like a year of like that was a standard year for Apple when it came, especially with the M1. And then last year, when that Ultra came out, that Studio came out, the display, even though it's a new product, the pricing of that's a little crazy.
Yeah.
But I think that this year was just one of their weaker years. No iPads this year came out, which was fine because I don't think there was anything they could have done to convince people
Well,
to buy more. I like the scary event. I thought again doing something a little different this year, but it was a very blah year for them. I feel like next year is going to be a definitely a difference. And
I was a little confused as to why they came out with the M2 and then came out with the M3. I'm
yeah,
like,
that's it's so
that
confusing
I
why they
think
did
that
that.
took a little fire out of it,
Yeah,
'cause-
I'm hoping they don't come out with these new M4s next year. Honestly, this should be an M3 all the way through. Unfortunately,
you
I think the
think?
Max. I don't think the Max are going to take a back seat. I think I don't. Besides having the 15-inch MacBook Air, which did come out, but by the way, pricing wise, which was very good. I think they're going to need to just be off the Mac a little bit and just stop upgrading them. I don't think other than putting an Ultra chip in, there should be no reason unless they're going to do a design change. There is no reason to change anything
Mhm.
on these Macs.
Well, hmm. Well, again, yeah, I mean, I can see that. It was kind of like, okay, now which one do I choose? And then, of
Mm-hmm.
course, if you had been an early adapter of the M2, now you're sitting there going, well, shit, I should have waited.
Yeah, and
You know?
and that's annoying. It's very
Yeah,
annoying. So I'm glad I'm still an M1 Max user. But would you say overall? I mean, you're kind of probably in the same where it's like a C plus, a B minus, right? This
yeah,
year,
yeah.
very
Um,
blah year
I mean, I
for
was
them.
hoping
Not one
that
of their best.
the Vision Pro would be available to at least, test drive. But
Yeah, I mean, they're saying it's coming out very soon, January, February.
yeah,
So they said early 2024. They really mean it. And I'm hoping that we can go to the Apple Store, test one of those out when they have the opportunity. This is a product you have to go test. There's no way
yeah,
you could just
yeah.
buy this
I
off
would
the
have thought that
shelf.
they would have, really pushed for the holiday season, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, I mean, for people to save up for it, but I don't think, just like the first iPhone, I don't think this is going to sell that quickly. I think it's going to take a lot of time for
Yeah.
this to work out, and we'll find
Yep.
out if it's really, really worth what they're charging for, which I don't think they are. But so yeah, that's a report card for this year for 2023. And Frank, of course, I appreciate coming on here, having a discussion with me about it. Hopefully, the fans out here, we don't do podcasts very often, but we will
Yep.
get together to hope for something for 2024. Maybe we'll talk about what's coming up in 2024 we want to look forward to, some predictions we'll come out with. We also will still continue having our training videos, and we thank you guys. 4,000 subscribers, guys, amazing. We really do appreciate the love and support you're giving us every time. And if you have a video idea, please put it in our comment section on YouTube. I appreciate it. Frank, anything you want to say?
Just
Good.
hopefully everybody have a good year and
Yes.
just keep on going, man.
All right. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. We thank you very much, and we love Every single one of you.